Alright, I'm bored again. So today we are going to be making kale chips. I know, it's like been there, done that, and blah blah blah. But I like making them because they're cheap and they're healthy and it's a better alternative as a snack. And they do become addicting. I know it sounds very cliche to say, but I do enjoy making them. And they're not that hard. You start with one bunch of kale. You can get it at any grocery store. You can even get the pre-washed kind at Aldi and it's already cut. But it seems this type of kale, it comes in a bunch, seems to work the best. I got this at Pete's Fresh Mart for like $1 something. But any grocery store that specializes in produce or Hispanic store that sells kale or any ethnic grocery store or, local chain produce mart, they always sell it for the cheapest. And what you want to do is get one whole bunch of kale and you want to tear it into bite-sized pieces. Just rip it along the stem because you don't want this, it won't cook. And, just go down its kale shaft and rip it into bite-sized pieces. Put that behind me. And if you rip it into little bite-sized pieces, which turned out pretty nice. You want to wash and dry them as much as you humanly can. That's what I did. I took a bunch of paper towels and whatnot. A good way to wash them is submerge them in cold water and a tablespoon of white or apple cider vinegar. Just wash it and then give it one good rinse and it'll get all the gross crap out of it. So I just kept it in there. And you're going to need your spice blend, which I made myself. It's to taste. You really don't have to use. You can use whatever you want. But I'm using red pepper for spice, garlic powder, and sea salt. This is the Salt for Life blend, so it's more powdery. Need some olive oil, two Trey Delios. I don't know what to call them right now, so sorry about that. And they look pretty gnarly, but I bake a lot, so they're clean. And optional, cooking spray, just so they don't stick. And what you want to do is preheat your oven to 350. And while that's happening, just spray that, just so they don't stick. And we're going to take our bunch of kale, make sure they're not touching. You got to be. The olive oil does serve a purpose. And I didn't invent this recipe, obviously, because you can find a million recipes for flipping kale chips. So this is one I found on allrecipes.com. I like allrecipes.com because it gets to the point. Every time I go on a blog to try to find something healthy, it always turns into a narrative that's 3-4 pages long worth before you get to the recipe. I went on this blog, Minimalist Baker, and just to get a vegan peanut butter mousse recipe. And it was just 4 flipping pages long of her just talking about her love of peanut butter and its health benefits. And it's just peanut butter was invented by George Washington Carver. He likes the study of peanuts. The peanut is a legume. Blah, 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 blah. Just dude, get to the point. If I ever did a blog, I'm not going to write some long-winded thing that nobody's going to read. They're just going to scroll down to the recipe. To all the people who are on these mommy blogs or vegan blogs, I have a terrible newsflash for you. Almost nobody reads your 4, page long-winded, opinion about, your 3-ingredient vegan recipe. They honestly don't. Sorry, but they don't. If I ever did a blog, I'd just be here you go, recipe. Okay, so enough of my tangents. You want to these kale chips, make sure they're not overlapping because it does affect the way they get cooked. So just make sure they're flat. And we're going to drizzle these with some olive oil. Just about like a tablespoon's worth for maybe each one. Just a little bit of drizzle. That's what the recipe says. Sometimes I like to toss and coat them in, but I'm going to do it this way to see if it makes a difference. So just drizzle them in. And then we're going to use the spice blend and just shake it on up there. Just shake it evenly. You can even just do salt if you don't want to do seasoning. I wanted to do some seasoning. Just, to make it my own. Nothing remarkable, but I like a little bit of spice. It's just easier if I dump the bowl on top of this. Alright. And then you're going to put it in your oven for about 10 or 15 minutes at 350 until they crisp up, and we'll come back to it. Okay. It's been 10 minutes, and here they are. As you can see, they do shrink quite a bit because I was able to fit the 2 bunches onto one plate. That's from, them baking. But they turned out pretty good. You can hear they're crunchy. And just let them drain off on the paper towel and cool off, and they become even crunchier and stuff. And don't expect them to be like regular potato chips or whatnot because you're replacing it with something healthier. But here they are. They're cheap to make. Took not that much time to make. And you get a healthier alternative snack than potato chips. And it costs about $1 to make. So there you have it. Kale chips. Like, subscribe. I don't care what you do. Have a nice day.